Yo, peak game. One of my favorite times of the year, sports-wise, NBA playoffs, man. Playing's done. I thought the Clippers could have beaten the Pelicans, but Paul George was out. But hey, it is what it is. I do see a lot of other fans of other teams trying to be petty because of that, but we're not going to discuss that. But let me get into my Western Conference playoff picks. All right. So the first game, Jazz versus the Mavs. Um, I'm gonna go with the Jazz in 6 games, and this is why. I do think out of both teams healthy, I think the Mavs have the best player between the two. But with Luca having a calf strain, we saw what happened to Kevin Durant when he had a calf strain. So I'm not saying Luca's on calf strain is that bad, but it's not going to be even if he does play effectively, he's not going to be able to like really push off. And we've seen in the playoffs he's got to drop 35 plus for them to have a chance. I mean, granted they went against a healthy Clippers team that have two of the better defenders in the league. But having said that, Rudy Gobert still a defensive stalwart, great blocker, great contester. He's gotten a little bit better on the pick and roll, a little bit. So it's not like, oh, we're going to put him pick and roll. We can burn him every time. He's a bit more effective. You got to really pay attention. But I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going to blow a 3-1 lead. Luka's injury has an effect on that. So I'm going to go with the Jazz in 6. You know, both teams have good coaching. Quinn Snyder's a good coach. Jason Kidd's proven he's a good coach, and the Mavs have been playing better defense throughout this throughout the season. So, but having said that, just because Luka being hampered, um, I'm sorry. I think he's going home in the first round again, Mavs. But the time is coming. The time is coming. I think you guys need another piece to really be effective. But it's going Jazz in 6. Next game, T Wolves versus the Grizzlies. We saw the celebration, the antics of Patrick Beverly. I'm personally not a fan of Patrick Beverly. I think he overdoes it on the court, and I'm being kind saying that. But he is one of those guys you want on your team, but you don't want to play against him. He's that type of player. Don't get it twisted. The T Wolves is a young, hungry team. So is the Grizzlies. And I'm gonna be a little biased because Ja Morant is my favorite player. But the Grizzlies have shown that they can play effective team basketball. That coach that they got in Memphis has done a hell of a job with those young guys. Everybody seems to understand their role and when they need to step up. I mean, Ja Morant, I'm gonna say this, like the key for Ja Morant, drop the points you need to drop, but you don't have to do the high flying antics. Just you're a good Ja Morant's a good passer of the ball. He tries on defense. They're the Grizzlies are a solid defensive team. Steven Adams is effective on setting screens, effective rim protector, strong as a bull, and on. But it's going to be a hell of a matchup between Adams and Cat, between those two in this series. But Steven Adams can move away from the block. He can switch. He does have the athleticism to do that. So it's not like Catch is gonna just drop back and keep shooting threes, and that's it. Like Cat has played out of his mind this year. You know, any other time, if it wasn't for Joker and Embiid, he would be a first team All NBA player or on that level. Excuse me. But having said that, I'm going the Grizzlies in 6. I think the Grizzlies team chemistry has been on full display when Ja Morant's been out, and you're adding Ja Morant, who is a guy who will facilitate the ball effectively. And I mean, T-Wolves, I'm definitely going to give them 2 games. I'm not going to disrespect them. Anthony Edwards been balling. Like I said, Cat's been balling out of his mind this season. And hell, they beat the Clippers to get into the 7th seed. But I just think the Grizzlies were here. What were in the playoffs last year? They lost to the Jazz last year, but they lost in 5. So many people are saying they're gonna get swept. Then Ja Morant said, "Nah, he said, nah, we ain't having that. We gonna get a game. We ain't getting that broom." So I'm going Grizzlies in 6. Yeah, might be picking. I'll probably be a little bit biased with this, but I do honestly taking my fandom away from Ja Morant. I do think that Memphis is the better team, and they've been in the playoffs more recently, and they got more playoff experience on their team as Steven Adams. So, Grizzlies in 6. The Nuggets and the Warriors. This is probably the hardest. This is probably the hardest series to pick for me, because the Warriors are still the Warriors. They got playoff experience. They got some young players that play their role well. You still got Steph. I don't know if Draymond is coming back or has come back. I'm not completely sure. I mean, Clay's been streaky. I mean, they do say like it takes about a year for a player in the NBA to return somewhat to their best selves the second year. I mean, Kevin Durant broke the mold, but Kevin Durant's game is not predicated on athleticism. But Clay is a two-way player. You know, he's like the 3-and-D guy on steroids, because Klay Thompson can do other things too. But upset alert. I'm going Denver in 7 because of Jokic. Could be back-to-back MVPs. I personally would probably give it to Embiid, but just with the stuff that he had to deal with, and they have a higher seed, and they have a better, and also Philly has a better regular season record than the Nuggets do, and the East is the better conference this year. But having said that, I am going the Nuggets in 7. And the reason I'm doing that, other than the Jokic reason, I know Steph can play well in the playoffs, but we have seen times he's folded like a cheap lawn chair in the playoffs. You know, Steph's an all-time great player. We all know this. Top 75, easily greatest shooter we've ever seen. But with Draymond being out, Clay's being somewhat streaky, I'm going Nuggets in 7. I gotta go Nuggets in 7. I don't think the Warriors have anyone that can stop Joker. And for the last one, the Suns and the Pelicans. Chris Paul's back. The Suns can play small ball. They can play big boy ball. They can hit threes consistently. They play a good defense. The Pelicans, young team, playing with some a lot of fire, because they're probably saying to themselves, we ain't supposed to be here, but we're gonna be here. But I'm sorry, not in this series. You're gonna get the best team in NBA. Devin Booker would have been an MVP candidate earlier. Had the chatter about Chris Paul, and don't get it twisted, Chris Paul's one of the best leaders I've ever seen in the NBA. Let's not get that twisted. But Devin Booker's been overlooked this year, man. And it's crazy, like, Chris Paul went out, the Suns didn't miss a beat. Devin Booker played a point, scored when he needed to. Cameron Payne came back, gave good minutes. The Suns players know their roles. They know how to adjust. They got a top 3 coach. And I'm sorry. Bring out the brooms. Bring out the brooms. Suns are sweeping the Pelicans. The Pelicans are too young in my opinion. Zion's, we know he ain't playing. I know they played well in the play-in. I'm calling a sweep. I'm sorry. New Orleans fans, you can say I'm being disrespectful. That's fine. I'll take that. But those are my picks for the Western Conference first round. So I got Jazz in 6, Grizzlies in 6, Nuggets in 7, and the Suns sweeping. Be easy. And hell, if I'm wrong, it is what it is. If I'm right, it is what it is. Deuces.